Ever since we were kids, we've dreamed of a future filled with flying cars, zipping between skyscrapers just like in The Jetsons or Blade Runner. For decades, it felt like a fantasy, something perpetually just around the corner. But what if I told you that corner is finally here? The future of personal transportation is taking to the skies, and it's happening faster than you might think. So what exactly is a flying car? The term itself is a bit of a catch-all. We're not talking about your family sedan with wings bolted on. The industry prefers names like eVTOLs, which stands for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing Aircraft. Think of them as a hybrid between a helicopter and a drone, but much quieter, safer, and way more eco-friendly. These vehicles are designed to lift off straight up, fly like a plane, and then land vertically, all without needing a long runway. This means they can operate from small landing pads called vertiports, which could be built on top of buildings or in parking lots. The dream isn't new. Inventors have been trying to make cars fly for over a century. One of the earliest attempts was the Curtiss autoplane in 1917. It was basically a car with detachable wings and a propeller. It managed a few short hops but never achieved sustained flight. Then came the Taylor Aero car in the 1940s, which was actually certified by the Civil Aviation Authority. You could drive it on the road, fold up the wings, and then fly it. A few were built, but it never hit the mass market. The problem was always the same. These designs were clumsy compromises. They weren't great cars, and they weren't great planes. So what's changed? 3 huge technological breakthroughs have converged to make this dream a reality. First, battery technology. Just like with electric cars, advances in lithium-ion batteries have made them powerful enough and light enough to lift a vehicle off the ground. Second, distributed electric propulsion. Instead of 1 or 2 big, noisy engines, eVTOLs use multiple small electric rotors. This makes them incredibly stable and maneuverable. If one rotor fails, the others can compensate, making them much safer than a traditional helicopter. And third, advanced autonomous systems. The same AI and sensor technology that's powering self-driving cars is being adapted for the skies. This will eventually allow these vehicles to fly themselves, navigating complex urban environments with precision. Right now, there's a global race to be the first to launch a commercial flying car service. Companies all over the world, from big names like Boeing and Airbus to innovative startups like Joby Aviation, Archer, and Whisk Aero, are pouring billions of dollars into development. They're not just building prototypes, they're in the final stages of certification with aviation authorities like the FAA and ASA. This is the real deal. We're seeing test flights happening almost daily. Some of these vehicles look like sleek, futuristic pods, while others resemble giant drones with passenger cabins. The variety in design is incredible, as everyone is trying to find the perfect balance of efficiency, safety, and comfort. Let's imagine what this new world would look like. Your daily commute could be transformed. Instead of being stuck in traffic for an hour, you'd book an air taxi on an app, just like you would an Uber or Lyft. You'd head to a nearby vertiport, hop into a quiet electric aircraft, and be whisked across the city in minutes. A trip that once took an hour could take just 10 or 15 minutes. Think of the time you'd save, the stress you'd avoid. It could completely change where we choose to live and work. You could live further out in the countryside, enjoying more space and nature, and still have a quick, easy commute to the city center. Beyond personal travel, the applications are endless. Emergency services could benefit immensely. Imagine an air ambulance that can land directly at the scene of an accident on a busy highway, bypassing all traffic. Paramedics could reach critical patients much faster, saving countless lives. It would also be a game changer for logistics. Delivering urgent medical supplies like organs for transplant or high-value goods could become incredibly fast and efficient. In remote or hard-to-reach areas, eVTOLs could provide a vital lifeline, connecting communities in a way that was never before possible. Of course, there are still some major hurdles to overcome before our skies are filled with flying cars. The biggest one is regulation. Aviation authorities need to create a whole new set of rules for these aircraft. How do we manage air traffic control when you have thousands of vehicles flying over a city? We need a sophisticated automated system, often called an unmanned traffic management system, or UTM, to make sure everything flies safely and efficiently, without any risk of collision. This system would be like the air traffic control for drones and eVTOLs, operating in low-altitude airspace. Then there's the infrastructure. We need to build a network of vertiports. Where will they go? How will they be powered? How will they handle the constant takeoffs and landings? These are complex urban planning challenges that cities around the world are just beginning to tackle. Public acceptance is another key factor. People need to feel safe flying in these new vehicles. The industry is working hard to prove their safety with redundant systems and rigorous testing, but it will take time to build public trust. And we can't forget about the noise. While eVTOLs are much quieter than helicopters, they're not silent. We need to make sure that the sound they do make is acceptable for urban environments. And what about the cost? Initially, flying in an air taxi will likely be a premium service, similar to what a helicopter ride costs today. But the goal for most of these companies is to bring the cost down over time. As technology matures, manufacturing scales up, and the vehicles become autonomous, removing the cost of a pilot, the price per trip is expected to drop significantly. The long-term vision is for air taxi services to be comparable in price to a standard ride-sharing service on the ground. So, when can we actually expect to take our first flight? The timeline is ambitious, but realistic. Several companies are targeting commercial launches in major cities as early as 2025 or 2026. Big events like the Paris Olympics in 2024 and the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028 are being targeted as showcases for this new technology. Initially, these will be piloted services on fixed routes, like from an airport to a city center. But as the technology and regulations evolve, we'll see the network expand, and eventually, we'll move towards a fully autonomous, on-demand service. The era of the flying car isn't a distant science fiction dream anymore. It's a tangible technological revolution that's unfolding right now. It's a journey that will require immense innovation, collaboration, and careful planning. But the potential to reshape our cities, our economies, and our daily lives is truly profound. The next time you look up at the sky, remember that in just a few short years, it might look very, very different. The future we've all been waiting for is finally ready for takeoff. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think about the future of flying cars? Would you be one of the first to take a ride? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this glimpse into the future, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you next time.